Welcome back. This is going to be so much fun today. I'm super excited to paint this. So I've started with a completely blank canvas. From here, I recommend doing this first. Now you don't have to follow step by step what I'm doing. However, the very first time I painted this, everybody just kind of loved it. So I'm kind of sticking to the same method because if it works, it works. So what I'm going to do is add some paint directly to the canvas. You don't have to go all crazy and use a palette yet because we're going to cover the entire canvas with black. We're going to paint the black, then the ball, then we'll do the leaves, and then followed by the flowers at the end. And the reason why I've chosen to do the background first is because I feel that it gives the painting more of a 3D look. You know, like painting over something. I mean, you can see I'm illustrating it right now as I go over. Like, see right here down by the side? That's cool. But then if I do this, this line here seems to take precedence, like it's in front of all these other lines. Get what I'm saying? Sometimes when it comes to acrylic painting, well, really painting in general, for whatever medium you're using, whatever type of paint you're using, it's always good to kind of just let sometimes the bubbling, do you see how the bubbles form, like the little glops and dollops of paint all over the place? You kind of got to let them do their thing naturally. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but then after a while, we're going to get a photograph. And like, if I wanted a photograph, I might as well just taken one, you know? Like, I'm trying to specifically with this painting, make it look like a painting. I don't want it to look like it came from a 3-second shot. Now, one thing that you can do is not paint the sides. However, I've noticed and have had a bit better success selling my paintings when I do paint the sides. I feel like it gives it a finished look. Now, you can paint, you don't have to paint on what I'm painting. I've got like a board here where it's already stretched and you can see that it's stapled. And this is about an inch, about that far, about this far down. So it's, excuse me, it's really hard for me to like watch what I'm doing and then kind of stand up a little bit and see the camera at the same time. It's like not right in front of my face. So if I kind of go off camera for a second, sorry about that. So anyways, I like to paint the sides. I think it gives it a finished look. One of the things that I've noticed in my time as an artist, I've noticed that like if I frame a painting, a lot of times people don't like the type of frame that I picked. They're like, oh, I love it, it was cute, it was wonderful, but the frame just doesn't fit the other frames that I have in my house, and I don't think it's gonna match. So because of that, I just kind of gave up, and I'm like, whatever, if you want to frame it, you frame it. Plus frames are kind of expensive a little bit. So that's why I paint the sides. Now, if you wanted to at the very end, I mean, this is just an easy black canvas, right? But if you're painting something else, like a really cool boat and all that stuff, you can paint the edge. Maybe you could go like just one solid color around, and then it would give it like a raised shadow box effect, which can be cool. Now, I feel like right now that I've kind of done this here, I'm going to go back over and I'm going to get rid of those bumps just because for this look, I don't want specifically these bumps. Now later, when I do the leaves and the roses, I do want those bumps. But for right now, I kind of just want a random background. It doesn't really show up a whole lot. I mean, with just a straight black. But it'll you'll see a little bit of a difference. It shows up more when you use like a light blues and pastel colors. Those bumps tend to show up a little bit more. That's cool. I'm just going to do a little bit more to see if I can get those lines a little bit straighter. And really all it does is help. At this point, all we're doing is helping the paint dry a little bit faster. Okay, I'm going to try to make this a quick painting today. Now this painting can last as long as you want because like it depends on how detailed you get, right? Now I try to limit myself to an hour. That's like the goal. I'm going to wash my brush out here. I just have a lot of water. I do like to change my water out periodically when I'm painting, when I go especially from a dark color into a lighter color. Now, one thing that nobody really pays attention to, which is actually like a thing, is that I'm using acrylic paints, and they can really mess up your plumbing over time. Now, if you're just painting once in a blue moon and all that, and, you know, dilute it when you dump it down the sink and everything, then you're fine, okay? It's all good. But when you're painting like I am, where I paint 1 to 2 different paintings a day, like after a while, it just doesn't make sense, right? I don't want to have to spend money and go get that fixed. So sometimes what I do with my paint water is I'll take it outside and dump it on my weeds. And that seems to work out really well. So this is going to need a minute to dry. Now I wanted to show you another version of this painting. This is what I painted like forever ago, a million years ago. And I decided to do this tutorial because I teach art classes and I have my art studio. And I have just had so many people love this painting and just think it was the cutest thing ever. And I'm going to be honest, on my heart scale of hardest, you know, for 1 heart being, yeah, okay, it's kind of, to 4 hearts being like, oh my goodness, I cannot do this. This painting, I would rank it on like a 3.5, almost 4 harder. Only because the technique we're going to use is we're going to put 2 different colors on the brush at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and use my hairdryer to speed up this process a little bit. Now this is a really cool hairdryer my husband got me. Now these people did not pay me. It's not an endorsement, but check this out. It's cordless. Isn't that the coolest thing? I mean, it was kind of expensive, but geez, I'm really into this dryer. It's got little settings and stuff. But anyways, so, now if I go really hot, which this dryer, because it's cordless, does not get that hot, so it's okay. If you go super hot, what happens is you're going to start getting a bubbly effect on your painting, which could not be what you want. But if you were doing like rocks or something, yeah, totally, the bubbly effect would work really great. But I don't really want that now, so I'm going to go without heat, even though it doesn't. I mean, we're talking about temperatures of like over 300. Then yeah, you're going to really, but I think this one only goes up to, I want to say like 200. I mean, it claimed that it went to 300, but whatever. It don't feel like it's 300. I have a heat gun that I use, and I can feel and I know what 300 feels like, and this does not. However, portable. And then the battery doesn't last that long, so it really kind of sucks on that part. But I'm in my office right now, so I can just charge it. So I'm going to dry it for 3 seconds. I really hate how it wastes power because I have to turn it to see where I'm at to turn it off. 'Cause if I go all the way down, it's on. Like, that's a really retarded system. I mean, because it's wasting power. I mean, it's only a few seconds of power, but this thing only lasts me like 15 minutes. So when I'm doing a painting show and I have like 30 ladies I'm teaching painting to, I need this thing to last so I can dry like 30 paintings. I mean, it's cool if I just have these, but I mean, this little guy was really expensive. So yeah, if I just have like 30 of them, that's like, we're looking at close to $2,000. So anyways, now I want to see if you noticed anything. Now it's kind of dry over here, and you can see little tiny lines where it's still kind of wet. I kind of globbed it on the edges. Now you're gonna know that your paint is dry when it's matte looking. When it gets all shiny, I don't know, maybe I can show you here. on those little edges. You see how it's kind of shiny a little bit? That shininess, that's still wet. So I'm going to go ahead and dry it just a little bit more, and then right after I dry it, I'll start doing the leaves. Okay, right. So it's all pretty much dry for the most part. There's still a little bit, but I'm going to be careful not to touch it. Now, I said I was going to do the leaves, but then I'm looking up over here. I have my little guy out here, and the leaves want to go down because, like, the more that you're overlapping things, the cooler they're going to look in the long run. Like, the more 3D they're going to appear in nature. Now, this isn't a natural paint, like, so we're not trying to be classical here. We're trying to be all modern, kind of. So, like, this is not really supposed to look like all anatomically correct. So I'm going to start with my bowl. I'm going to go with some bright aqua green. I don't feel like that's bright aqua green. I call it turquoise. Super simple, basic. So I need a little bit. Now, it kind of matters what brush you're using for this technique. None of these people in this video have given me money to advertise or anything. The sole purpose of this video is just so I can show you the method that I use to do this painting. That's it. So I'm not getting paid nothing for this. However, this is an Artist Loft brush, and it's a number 6. I like it. It's pretty cool. Now I am trying to get a brush that is rectangular. I just feel that this shape of bristle works better. These are nylons. You can tell that it's white, and when it doesn't really, it's kind of like a stiffer bristle. I'm okay with this one right now because it's a brand new brush. But when this brush gets used about 2 to 3 times, I'm so over it. Like, yeah, then it's not a good, because they fray out a lot and everything. But for a first time use, it's pretty good. It's way cheaper. It's good. I usually try to buy the multi-packs just to save on money, and these come in there. So, yeah. So paintings like this that are not classical, I use my cheaper brushes. When they are classical and I'm trying to look like a photograph, then I use my, I use human hair. They're pretty much, I mean, they're expensive, you know, but it is what it is. So anyways, I'm going to make a little guy, just kind of eyeball it. Now, remember, we're not trying to be all, like, scientific here. I'm going to start on the outside. Okay, that sort of works. I'm going to go back and forth and just kind of, you know, nothing too fancy. I don't want to stress out over anything. What I do want to make sure is big, broad, huge, yes, I'm here movements. And you see how the paint's globbing up? That's okay, that's good. I like the globbiness of the paint. Gives it character. And now I'm going to work in. Try not to mess with it too much, just a little bit. I'm fabulous. Ah! Oh no, see what happens. Oh well. Just go and clean it right up, and I can wipe some of it off. There we go. I do kind of want to make sure that maybe they're a little straight here, you know. Ah, there we go. Oh, okay, so I don't like how all of this goopiness is getting. So goop it to make it cool. So it has some sort of, like, it was a pottery, and somebody took their time to make this pretty pottery. Just kind of gooping it and globbing it just like we're little kids playing with goo. Yep. Ah! It happens. And if it happens, it happens and it's okay. Because whatever, it's a painting. This is my time to hang out with me. So, yep. No judgment. Whenever I get the gloppies the way that I like them, I feel like I'm not steady. We are our own with critics, aren't we? Yeah, it's working. I mean, I'm being a little bit too much here, right? Sometimes in art, you just gotta know when to stop. Stop! Okay, I'm done. Okay, so I'm gonna wash out my brush. Oh, my water's black. I need to change my water. I don't have my little assistant here to help me, and I'm kind of like not wanting to pause the video. Now, you know what? I strongly recommend that you dry your little vase, because we're gonna overlap it and stuff. For the sake of the video, I'm gonna onward here, but yeah. Let me see. See what I'm illustrating a point here with the water. Do you see what's going on with this, my brush now? It's like dark and black, but I never used black on it, but that's because the water is dirty. I mean, common sense, no duh, right? I mean, we learned this in like kindergarten. But sometimes when you're painting, these little stupid things that we should have common sense about, we don't think about it because we're so focused on the canvas that all these little things we just like forget about, right? So then this is going to affect it when I go to do my leaf. I'm going to have a little bit of black paint. So I'm going to go and change my water really quick. I'm going to give my paint a second to dry. I will be back literally in 1 second. So this might be a good time to let your painting dry. And if you have any questions, please write them down in the comments and I will answer them. I check my comments every single day. So you'll get an answer within 24 hours. I'm back. Are you ready to go for step 3? Well, it seems like you can see that my paint is still kind of dry when I move the canvas. Do you see how it's kind of shiny? The shiny effect, that means it's still wet. I don't want to mess with it because I want my little dollops to be dollops, right? Now, if I dry them, my dollops will, if I dry them with a hairdryer faster, or if I live in a climate where it's like really hot, like right now when I'm filming this is winter inside my house, so the weather's like, I think I have it at like 72 right now. So it's okay, but I mean if I'm sitting here outside, 60 is gonna take forever. If I'm in a dry climate, it'll go fast. But I kind of want to keep these dollops, right? I think what I've created there was kind of cute and it gives something, so I'm gonna take a few seconds and dry it really quick. Okay, so that's pretty good. It's not all the way dry, but you see that it's getting matter. That way we don't have to like or touch it or anything. Don't touch your paintings when they're wet. Keep your dollops. Dollops are what help you sell paintings. Trust me on this one. I've been doing this for years. The more detail you put in the painting, the more someone who doesn't paint is like, oh my goodness, I have to have that. Versus no detail in a painting is like, oh, well, your daughter made a really nice painting. And then you're like, you're my daughter? No, I made a really nice painting. So anyways, also with this method, I'm going to say it's a little difficult. I'm still learning it. I've been doing this method for about 4 years, and I've painted this guy like a million times. And I still feel when I paint it that I'm like, not so good, right? Still happens. Doozies happen. If it does, it's okay. Whatever. It's only materials, right? It's not like it's a mortgage payment or anything. Okay, so my brush is all clean. We're ready to go. One of the things I recommend doing that's a no-brainer also, but you just don't think about it when you're in the moment, is bending your bristles a little bit. So that way, do you see that bend that I'm doing right there? Just get all the water out. The paint I'm using is kind of expensive paint a little bit, so I don't want to add water to it. I mean, you could add gesso. Of course, now we're talking, I was at the store the other day, and they were trying to sell me like 32 ounces of gesso for like 64 bucks. And I was like, what? No. The way around that is you just have really dry paint and you don't add water to it. Okay, that's not good. It's okay that I had water that spilled onto my canvas, but that's because it was already dried first. I took the time to dry it, so it's fine. If the paint was wet, then it's like, oh no. And then just wipe it all away. You know, can you imagine you made a pretty girl or something, really nice face, and then a droplet of water, and you're like, oh no. But it's dry, so it's okay. So I still have some water. I do have my table. This table is like a plastic sad table because it's my painting table. I wanted a cheap one. So, you know, it's like my destroy table. This paper, I love this paper on the table because, as you can see, I've done like all over the place, you know? And yeah, I use them all the time. I change them about once a week. And you can see how dirty this one is. That is how many paintings I painted in 1 week. Okay, so on my bowl, my plate, I have added the color bright green and bright yellow. Now, nature, I would recommend using a dark green, but as I said before, this is a modern painting. We're not trying to look like a photograph. We're trying to come out of like my imagination, right? Your imagination. I'm going to teach you how to do leaves. Now, they're fantastical leaves, okay? So if you're not getting all the points and everything, that's okay, whatever. It's your painting, your world. It'll actually it could be a little bit cooler than being all super precision perfect. Now, the easiest way to do this is to put a little bit of paint on one side. Oh, excuse me. I messed that one up. Let me do that one again. See, these things happen, and that's okay. We're not perfect people. Okay, so I washed it, I dried it. Now, I'm going to make swoops backwards because I want my greens. Well, I mean, really, it depends. I mean, you can go either way with it, actually. So, okay, let's do fantastical ones. So if I'm doing fantastical ones, then let's make the yellow part of the leaves the inside of the leaves. Because usually, like, yellowing of the leaves would start from the edges and work out. So because of that, this is a very important step right here. That's why I'm taking a long time to explain it. So we're going to do a swoop out on this side. Get that? Do you see how much a little dollop I'm putting on there? Okay. We get that, right? Y'all can see that. Then I'm going to do this. There you go, Lynn. You've been asking me all this time, and that's the secret right there. That's it. That's the whole secret. So I've got two little triangles going on here. Do you get it? This is going to be cool. Now, it doesn't happen on the first pass. It usually takes about 2 to 3. I mean, it could happen on the first pass if you're really good, but I've only been doing this for 4 years, and I've done it only like maybe 2,000 times. So I'm not the world's best at this, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to have my leaves all over here. Now, since this is still kind of wet, I'm going to stay away from it. And It's okay to turn your canvas. I strongly ask you to turn your canvas so you're not turning your body, your head, everything else. And then after an hour of painting, you're like, ugh, and it hurts, right? And you're all sore and stiff. Turn your canvas. This is another big, huge reason why I hate using easels, because this method is so much easier. So I'm going to start at the bottom of the leaf. I'm going to start in and work out, and I'm going to make waves, okay? So if I would recommend, watch me do all the leaves first. Once you kind of got the idea of what's going on, then go ahead, replay the video back, and go ahead and do it. I've taught this method many, many times to people, and I recommend that you'll get the best results if you just watch it maybe 10 leaves first, and then you're like, ah, okay. I mean, it sounds so easy that it's very difficult to paint these leaves, because, I mean, let me tell you. Okay, so I out first, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Get it? So it's half my leaf. Now that doesn't look perfect and beautiful, right? It will. It has to take a few coats to do it. So I got green all over my brush. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and Lynn, please do this. I've seen many times you haven't done it, and I'm telling you, this is the magic. These are the little parts of the secrets that make things happen. These little tiny bits that you have to do. It's imperative, because if you don't, all you're going to get is green leaves. You won't have any yellow left over. So now I'm going to do the other side of the leaf. I'm going to turn my canvas, because that I'm not like, I can't do this, right? So I'm going to do the same thing. Now I want to keep remembering that the inside of my leaf, I want to keep it yellow, because if I put yellow this way, then it's going to, no. You know, it's just, I mean, it'd be more fantastical, but I do want this to look like a cohesive unit. So I'm going to swoop and swoop. Yep. Kind of looks like a little subway. Yeah. Triangle, you know, you could get dollops in there. But if you notice, the biggest thing of what I'm doing here is I'm not allowing my two colors to mix. Now, I could go back and then wipe it and get pretty, but, you know, I have found more success if I don't do that. So I'm going to go in here and go out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Okay, doesn't look great right now. It's okay, we're going to come back to it. I'm going to allow this to dry a little bit. I'm going to start on a new leaf. I'm going to go ahead and wash my brush. I strongly, for best results, recommend washing your brush every single time. And this is why it's important that we no longer have black in there, because it'll taint everything. We don't want that, right? It is a little time consuming. It is part of the whole deal. That's why sometimes paintings are more than $5. Okay, so I want to match, but I don't want to match perfectly because it's too symmetrical, which could be cool, but I want to have variety. So I'm going to put my little leafy guy down here. So we're going to do, we want the in, so he's going to be, we're going to do him this way. Of course, you know what? We should really cover that, but this is still wet. So let's start over here. We're going to do this guy straight up, which, because he's going to go straight this way, I'm still going to turn my canvas. So we want yellow to be the inside, little dollop, with some green. Do you see how I have two triangles? Now, we're going to find our little leaf, and we want our leaf to be roughly the same size, but they're cohesive units. So we're going to start in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Oh! Do you know what that looks like? I can't say it because of YouTube restrictions, but I know what that looks like. Giggity, giggity. Anyways, make sure you get all the water of the brush out. I know this is time consuming. It really is, but trust me, the end result, if you are patient and you stick with it and you really make this happen, people are going to think you're like so super cool. That big painting took me about 3 hours to paint when I first painted it. Okay, so start in, swoop out, in, out, in, out. Oh, I have too much water on my brush. Woo, and I made a little bunny holes. That's okay, we'll come back. When it dries, I'm coming back for another pass. I mean, I guess this one's kind of ready. I could come for another pass right now. It's already got some little dollops there. Kind of rather it dry more. Let's do another leafy. I said I didn't want one in the corner, but this has a bunch of space here, so I could probably do one here-ish. Because I'm not, or I couldn't do, no. Decisions. What a nice life, right? To have, where am I going to put the leaf? To not have to worry and stress about, is the baby going to eat today? Or am I going to pay my rent? It's cold outside. I can't live in a tent. What a good idea to just worry about where our leaves go. Okay, so, I mean, honestly, it matters. It does because of composition and keeping the eye wandering. But don't stress. Like, honestly, really, all my classes and everything, I should not give you stress in life. You know, if you're stressing out over this, something's wrong and you ain't doing it right, and call me, text me, email me, something, and we can figure this out, because you should be having a good time right now. If you're not, stop what you're doing. Okay, so we'll make this guy a little bit up here because there is a lot of dark space here, not a lot. And so if I do it here, then they're going to match, right? Which is, yeah. So I got my orange on the outside, my green. Remember to flip it over before you start painting, because once you put the yellow outside, you totally, yeah, I mean, you didn't really mess up, but it's a whole to-do to fix it. So just don't in the first place. So we're going to start in, swoop out. See how I'm going back and forth? Oh, there's too much water again. Too much water. This is also why these papers, you see what I'm doing? This is a lot of the reason why I do this too. And the other reason why the table that I'm painting on is really cheap. I mean, I think I paid, it was on clearance at Sam's Club for like 30 bucks. So yeah, don't use a fancy table. Now, when you use human hair doesn't have the problem in holding in the water as much as acrylic does. This is like, I think there's a bit of nylon in there too. So, he's kind of looking like a 4-leaf clover there, huh? So we're going to do dollop on one side. Now, it really doesn't matter what side you start with. When I first started doing this technique, I found more success if I started with the lighter color first and then I followed it through with a darker color. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. That's cute. Then we'll let it dry. Let's see, where else? I think we should do a leaf, maybe meows. This is still kind of sticky. So if you're liking this and I'm doing a good job, can you please let me know in the comments or send me an email or something? Because I really want to know how y'all feel about this. Am I doing a good job or not? Because I usually do this live in my art studio with students. So I'm still new to this whole YouTube-y of like trying to teach a class on YouTube. So please give me honest, constructive. I mean, please don't be rude and mean for the sake of being rude and mean. You know, like if there's something I need to fix, let me know so that way I don't embarrass myself and waste your guys' time in the future, you know? Well, please correct me. But please do it in a nice way. But no, really. But let me have it. Tell me the truth. Just be respectful. Tell me like, oh, it was nice, but you know, you could have done this better. And then I'll be like, you know what? I didn't think of it that way. Thank you so much for letting me know. Now I'm going to be such a better artist. Okay, so we're going to say that this guy goes down, right? He's going to, you know what? He's going to be here. He's going to be out here-ish. Now, everybody has a different handwriting, okay? So, like, when you write your name is different than when I write my name. And if I try to write your name, it's going to be different, right? You know what? I'm going to put the water on this side so we can eliminate the problem. Try to wipe that off because sometimes water can, it pills up paint. Like right here, I have a circle because it kind of brought it up a little bit. Okay, make sure that it's dry. Make sure you're not hunched over too. I know I caught myself hunching over a little bit, and now I can kind of feel it in my neck. So take a moment. Now, if your colors overlap just a tiny little bit, that's okay. It's fine. Just don't make them overlap a whole lot, because I want to see the different colors. That's cool. This guy's drawing. I think it's time we could go back, but let's do one more. But I think they're getting ready where we can go with the second pass. Now, the second pass, that's where all the magic's going to be. That's where it's going to be like, ooh, that's a good one. Sometimes it has happened to me where I make duds. I know you guys have heard me say this a lot, but I'm telling you what, it's true, true, true. I had this professor, and I was really down with my work, but he was giving me straight A's. I was at the Pima Community College. I was doing like a summer program for art, trying to see if like, you know, art was something I wanted to do before I committed to actually doing a degree at the university. So I tried it out for the summer, and I thought all my stuff was pretty bad. I mean, it was bad. And my teacher said, no, what it is you gotta go through the journey to find the good stuff. If you don't go through the journey, 70% of your art's gonna be bad. It's gonna be a failure, but you have to go through that journey to get to the 30% of stuff that's actually really good. And, you know, I thought, okay, yeah, whatever, you know, and I mean, I kind of just forgot about it really, and then it wasn't until later that I started with my portfolio when I had it and I was working on it and stuff that I actually started figuring this out, that I'm like, that dude actually knew what he was talking about. Like, even though he wasn't working at a big fancy university and he was just working at the Pima Community College, like, that dude actually knew what he was talking about. He had so many ideas, so many things I learned from this guy. I don't even remember his name. It was so long ago. But, you know, I think majority of my art education has just been a little bit from everybody. Everybody's got something to say. There's a little point of view here and there. Everybody's got a different little style, you know? Because, like, I didn't invent this. You know, this style of painting the Chinese, actually, they kind of really popularized the painting. Now, did you see what happened? I kind of ran out of globs of paint. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill up my brush again. This is what makes it so time consuming, is the preparation. You really want to, it's almost the same concept of cooking a steak. You're not going to have a good steak if you start with the cheap cuts of meat. You know, you need to have a good quality meat and then cook it right to actually get a good steak. Because, you know, if it's a bad, like if you get like bottom round, and you try to cut that in this steak, no. You know, it's going to be chewy, it's going to be hard. But if you get a sirloin and then you try to make a steak out, it's going to be good. Same thing with brushes and... Oh, I did it backwards. This is not going to work. Do you get that? No paint is going to get smeared. So it's okay. I'm not going to waste this. I'll go back. Let's put one here in the middle. Yep, we're going to put one in here in the middle, and I'll come back to that one. Remember, in, out, in, out, in, out. Ah! They look like little four-leaf clovers, kind of like a cartoony version of them. I'm liking them. It's coming. Well, we are already 40 minutes into this video, and I actually, when I sat down to do this, I really didn't think this class was going to be that long. I was expecting 20 minutes because I've shrunk down this painting a lot and made it smaller. But now that I'm like thinking about it, whew, But anyways, thank you so much for sticking with me this whole time, because you are going to have this amazing painting when we are done. It is going to be the cutest thing ever, and you are going to be so popular and cool with everybody. Okay, so here, start in, swoop out, out, in, out, in, okay? Now, honestly, it does matter in nature. It does matter if in nature how many of these points and swoopies you have. That's kind of like a thing. But I'm in my world. So, like, I don't know if you ever went to Disney World and went on the, well, in LA's Disney World, they used to have E.T. And it was pretty cool, right? Remember they had the air conditioning in there? It was nice, and they put the air freshener, and you were like in a little park. It was really pretty, right? Well, this kind of flower to me came from the world of where E.T.'s from. So, because of that, I'm doing a bunch of them. Now, like you can see, I think oak leaves are like 5-pointed. Now, you can do it with oak leaves, go out, straight, out, you know, like kind of in and then back straight. Like you do more linear lines. Okay, we're going to go this way. No, we're going to go. Oh. Remember, it's easier if you start with a lighter color and then put the darker color. It's just easier. But it's your own world, you know. I've got my daughter's in the next room doing her homework. You know, the last thing she needs is for me to barge in and be like, hey, how was your day? She's busy right now doing her homework. She's in her own little world. So, like, my house is clean. Dinner's already in the crock pot. Like, I'm good. I got a minute. So, this is my own little time and my space to do whatever I want. I do have kitties. I do. I ended up inheriting some kitties. My husband had them. And I'm not really a cat person, but he is. So, okay, it works. But yeah, they like to come bug me sometimes. Now, I'm going to start. I think this was the ones we started with first. So, I'm going to go ahead and put them in here. I'm going to tell you what, though. One of the cool things that I've noticed is my very first time actually really doing a class like this on YouTube. I'm kind of digging it. In the sense that I can focus on what I'm doing in my painting, which I do in my classes. I do. I have a lot of fun, but like I'm more focused about my students. What are they doing? And, you know, and this is like, oh, I gotta paint something. Okay, it takes a while, guys. It doesn't just happen. I think I might have 5 passes on that one. Now, I'm going to try to show you something how to expedite this little guy. I don't have a lot of mixture of green into the yellow, so I am going to double dip. If you are a beginner at this, I recommend washing your brush and not double dipping. I've done this for quite some time, so I'm a little bit easier for me. I'm going to go ahead and complete my... I should have just done them in circles, honestly. This time I'm not going to press so hard. I'm just going to kind of press a little bit so I can really just move the paint around. Now, do you see how it's building on in layers? Now I'm going to go ahead and wash my brush because even I'm not that good to do 2. I have seen some people that can do them millions of times. There are apparatuses and things that you can buy, which, yeah, they're cool. I bought them, I worked them, I used them. They were cool. But in the end of the day, this worked just fine for me and for my handwriting and how I do my things. I don't want to try to copy everybody. I mean, yeah, there's some cool things about what everybody does. But, you know, in the end of the day, it's you. Okay, let's see. They're all kind of getting in a state of where they are. So let's do this guy. Remember, the gold in the inside and the green on the outside. And don't press too hard. And I've messed up there, but it's okay. I'll come over it again. It's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up here. I mean, as women, we tend to stress out. Like, we beat ourselves up a lot. And it's just not as women. It's just human nature, right? Doesn't it look like a little Joker? Like the hair of a Joker? You know, with the little, they come up a little bit on the sides. It's cute. I'm going to put a little bit more here. Oh, geez, I messed up. I'm going to have to go that way. That one, the yellow didn't come out so much. I could scoop in some more yellow. Scoop it. That's okay. Didn't work. We'll do it again. The leaves on that other painting I showed you earlier, I think I went over them about 5 times. The better you do get at this, like the less you know, don't have to. Okay, here's the whole deal. My paint is thick. I understand that. I know my paint's thick. But gesso, in the long run of trying to paint 2 paintings a day, sometimes I can get up to 4 or 5 paintings a day. It's just, you know, not really cost effective. And then it's a whole to-do with make sure. It's a whole lot of wasted paint that you have to make while adding gesso, because you put in a thing, then you mix it. It's a whole to-do. And I'm getting this paint out of tubes. So paint kind of gets a little pricey. My paint budget is like, I go through, I'd have to say about $100 in paint every 2 weeks. So when I'm trying to add a $64 thing of gesso that's going to last me half a week, I don't got $64 every 5 days to be spending. So this is one of the reasons I do this over and over again with many layers. Stuff does go bad over time. A lot of the reason why I go through so much paint is because I teach art classes all over the county. People pay me so that I come to their facility and like I do paint parties. My goal is to do like 1 a week, which I've been pretty successful actually. I've had a lot of birthdays and different things, and I'm doing 2 fundraisers at the moment. And I don't advertise like my private parties, obviously, because they're private, but like I've been a busy gal over here. So yay, blessings, you know, working and working every day, just working at it. I like being my own boss. It's pretty cool. I mean, there's been some stresses and some like, and you know, like, I'm paying the bills this month. I'd use all my savings that I made the last 3 months. But you know, the longer I'm at it, the more I'm working, then the cheaper stuff is getting. Like I figured out where I'm assigned a contract to buy my paints and stuff on bulk. And so it's working, it's coming. Pretty happy. Okay. So typically when I'm painting just for me, like it's mine and I'm going to hang this in my house, I'm like not trying to sell it, I will give myself like 3 hours. This is kind of cute. I almost turned to a flower, but I don't want it as a flower. But if I am producing art so I can go to a show, I try to limit myself to 1 hour. Just, you know, time's money. And sometimes you stress out too much. Sometimes it's good and you just gotta let it be what it is, and then you overcorrect. That's not good. I tend to be one of those persons. So if I put myself a time limit, then it's all good. Now I recommend each time starting at the base. Let me put some extra. Starting at the base of the leaf and then working towards the middle. I strongly don't recommend just going all the way around. You're going to run out of paint. It's something I don't do. I've seen some people are really good at it and they can do it. But I'm not there yet with my ability. I didn't paint like this like 10 years ago. I'm getting better. Everybody should be getting better. If you're not getting better and you're not learning and improving and seeing that improvement over time, something's wrong. Go talk to somebody, figure out what you're doing, and try to change something. One thing that I always do is every single time that I put effort and do this, I'm actually, what could I have done for next time to make it better? Like last night I painted a boat and it was like a totally adorable and cute. But then I was like, yeah, them clouds. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up some Bob Ross, because I haven't looked up Bob Ross in a couple of years, and he's the guy that paints the clouds. So I think I'm going to try to reacquaint myself with clouds before the next time I try to paint them, so that way I can get some better insights and be like, ah, okay, that's what I was doing, and fix it. Now also when it comes to overlapping, I always hide my mistakes. So if you have a leaf that it's not happening for you, go ahead and stop, let it dry, and then just put a flower over it. No one will see it. It'll be our little secret. I won't tell anybody if you don't. There we go. Ah! I went too far. Oh, well, personality. Everybody's got to have a little personality. Okay, I'm just going to go a couple more passes and let these be what they are. They're going to be a little see-through, and that's okay. The roses are going to be so much more easier to paint than the leaves. They're going to be, the roses will be like, that's it. You're going to be like this whole time, wait a minute, that's it? Yes, that's it. And also one of these reasons why I'm really stressing this with you guys and we're really practicing here is because by doing this and getting the muscle memory, when you go to paint roses, they'll be so much better. This is almost like the warm-up, because it kind of is, and it really isn't, but it's sort of the same basic idea with the roses. Instead of going all the way, I'm getting a hard time getting paint there. So I'm just going to not go all the way. See if I can get some paint. Now see how it's globbing up? People like to buy paintings that have globs. That's kind of a thing. So I recommend if you get globbies, leave the globbies, just because people think that's cool and they think, oh my goodness, you're so talented. And you're like, in your head, you're really like, no, it was actually kind of a mistake that I did. And I'm not going to tell you that. Oh yeah, that was my whole thing. I was really trying to do that. Okay, we added a new leaf. Try not to add new leaves. I mean, you can if you want. This is cute. It's fun. We're going to do this a little bit more because I want to show it to really stand out that it's overlapping and to really be a statement. I'll wash the brush. So if you have any questions, because, you know, it's not like you're here with me in my room, but like, well, it's my painting studio. Please write it down in the comments. I do check my comments literally every 24 hours. That's like kind of my daily routine in the morning, is check my messages. So just, you know, I'll answer them. Oh, you know what? I would also like to say too, if you're enjoying this, which I hope you are. I'm trying to really put effort. But no, honestly though, I teach classes all the time. My whole goal is to do 1, possibly 2 paintings a week. So I strongly recommend hitting the subscribe button so that way you don't miss out anything. And I know it's like so overplayed out on YouTube. Please subscribe. And everybody's like a million times. But honestly though, no, really. Because YouTube has like rules and laws and stuff on like how many you can do this and that and the way that things are done. Like if I can't go live right now because I don't have enough subscribers. If I had enough subscribers, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, then I could go live. And I can use another platform, and I tried to use this platform, Prism. And it's called Prism. And it was cool. It worked. But the problem was getting Prism to link up to YouTube, and I was trying to create an event. Like, I know computers. I'm a coder. I'm the one that works my website and everything. But, like, I put like 2 hours in on this whole gig, and then I just got really frustrated, and I was like, I can't do this. And it's not like I can just be like, hey, hi, and like go into like my local YouTube office and be like, can you help me? And then, oh, okay, got it. You know, like you can do that. You can go into the bank and be like, can you help me with your app? But I can't really do that with YouTube, and I've watched all the videos. So please hit subscribe so that way I can go live. Because if I have enough people and the YouTube allows me permission to go live, then that way when we're painting together, you can just type it in and then I can be like, oh yeah, and then answer your question right then and there. Get it? So yeah, it would be so much easier for me because I'm trying to think about all the questions that you would ask, but you know, like hope that I can get to them, but then like thinking I don't know, and then later after I filmed the video, I'm like, oh, I should have said this or I should have said that, or why didn't I say this and that, you know? But if you guys could type to me, then you know I can make sure to cover all the bases. So please hit subscribe because it does help me out and I greatly appreciate it. Even if you're not going to be like an actual follower of mine, even just the simple act of doing that is still a blessing for me because I'm still have the quotas that YouTube tells me that I need to have. It's almost like currency, kind of, like I don't make money on it, but it just, the barriers of entry are easier. It's like you get a better resume. Okay, so here is what I've got. I like them. I think they're pretty good. Now, like I said, we're not going for photographic at all. That's like not the goal here. The goal here is for Impressionism, and that's kind of what we're doing. We're doing a modern version of Impressionism, so we're like kind of in between both genres here. I'm going to take a few seconds and dry this. I recommend right now washing your brush, getting set, you know, taking a stretch, go get a glass of wine. I'm drinking water over here. But go ahead, give your painting a moment to dry. I would say maybe a minute or two. I'm going to do the fast way with the dryer. Okay, this is taking forever to dry. I really super globbed and gooped it on there. You can see it's still kind of shiny. I'm liking it though. It's kind of a little tie-dyed effect, sort of. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change my brushes. I like this guy. Same Artist Loft too. Artist Loft did not give me any money to say this. I'm just saying I'm using their brushes because they're kind of the cheapest thing out there right now, and I like them and they work. But I did not get paid to tell you that. So to show you what I've done, it's the same brush, except for it's a little skinnier. That's really basically all I want. It's still, this one has a little bit more nylon on it, so it's a little bit softer. It bends a little bit easier, but it's still quite a lot of acrylic, so it's still kind of tough, not bendy. I kind of do want these to be bendy. I do like the brushes when they're more bendy. But what I was explaining earlier was, can you see what's going on with this brush right here? How it's starting to kind of fall apart a little bit. Oh, excuse me. Let me find where I can, there we go, right there. See the little, there's like lines. You can see little tiny grooves. This is what happens. Acrylic falls apart super, super fast. So that's why I don't, yeah, I'll only use them a couple times. Okay, so we're going to use this brush, which is a tinier brush. Now I'm going to do my roses. Now I'm kind of particular. I don't know if you guys have noticed that I do like the color purple. That's my color. So I'm going to go ahead and put some purple. When you're in the art store, I've started noticing that purple tends to be one of the more expensive colors. I think it's more expensive to produce. Blue used to be extremely expensive, but then it was in blue is lapis lazuli, a rock that came out of Afghanistan. Later on, people found this grass. I don't remember the name of the grass. I want to call it I think it's like azul or something. The name of it, I don't remember. But anyways, it's a ground cover that's really good for people that have a hard time growing grass. And they mush it down, it turns into a paste, and and they heat it up, and it's a chemical reaction, and then it turns blue. So because of this grass, and because it like basically grows everywhere, blue got cheaper. So now, in my opinion, I think purple is one of the more expensive of the colors. I mean, that's also another reason as to why you've never really seen a flag in purple, right? Like, who in the world has a purple flag? Because, you know, countries need like tons of flags and stuff. So we're going to do the exact same thing. Let's see, do we want our, what are we going to do here? Let's put the color on the inside of the flower. So technically I need to wash out my brush because it's going to get some greens. I'm going to switch a lot of colors, so really right now it kind of doesn't matter a whole lot because it is good. This color of my water is pretty light. It's not like the black color, but it was really dark. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go, because of that, I'm going to put the purple on this side. And I should have gone in the white first, But see, I've done this a million times. The more times you do it, the better success you're going to get in not mixing your colors. But the exact same thing of what I did with my leaves. Exact same situation. I'm going to make a purple flower, meow. I'm going to also see where it is I don't like my leaves. Like, this is cute. That's cool. Like that. I don't really like this up here. Let's put a rose right here. So we're going to start with the outside petals and work our way in. So we're going to go dollop. We're going to set it down. We're going to out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Now notice how the purple is starting to be on the outside. The more I waved it, it was all white out here. And then it got like not white. Because this happened to my brush. That's why. The waving back and forth. I got too much into the purple and it brought the purple out. That's okay. I'll let it dry. Let it do its thing. Now what we're gonna do is let's do the other side. I strongly, when it comes to roses, recommending not double dipping. Yeah, okay, we practiced a lot with the leaves, but roses just need to have that extra little pop and a little, you know, you've already put so much effort to get to this far, so why not just keep it going, right? Because that's like the saddest thing. That's when you overwork your painting and you've worked so hard, you did so, and then, aww. So, like, it's kind of like the idea of, like, when my daughter's 13 now, but when she was younger at the buffet, the salad buffet, set it down, out in, I would go and get her plate for her, and she didn't like it when I did that, because, you know, I'm a mommy. I put all the nummy stuff that nobody ever wants to eat, but are really healthy. So she would go to me. She would stand next to me and I'd have her little plate, and, you know, she's a little kind of, I mean, we're talking like 6 years old. Because if not, she just goes to the desserts. So she would go, no, mommy, no, mommy, no, mommy, no, mommy, no, mommy. Literally it was the cutest thing ever. It was so cute. I even actually took a video to record it. It was so cute. But anyways, the whole entire reason why I'm talking about this is because when I'm painting, when you start feeling, when your brain starts inside is like, no, mommy, no, 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 mommy, no, mommy, no, oh, jeez, mommy. That's when you know to stop. Kind of started feeling like that with my leaves, so I stopped. Let's go here. Oop. See how we fixed it, but we don't want to do too many because then we'll have the same process happen over and over again. Clean my brush because you see how the purple got all over the place. See, I wish I was having the ability to go live right now because, I don't know, should I just keep these as purple flowers, or maybe I could add, because my other painting that I'm doing for inspiration, I've got some peach up there and some blues. That's pretty cool. If you have little water droplets, don't let them sit on too long, because then you're going to start getting circles, and we don't want circles. Also, with roses, make sure you're extra super dry. And this action right here is why my brushes are getting destroyed. But it is what it is. Part of the whole gimmick. Now we are going to do a center there, but before we do that, let's just let it dry completely before we go on. Otherwise, we're just mixing color around, and then our painting starts looking like a little child made it. We don't want that, right? Let's do a rose right here. I mean, I'm liking these little bumps here, but you know, well, we're going to make this, you know what? Not purple. Not purple. It's going to be rose right there. We do one right here. Yeah, we'll do one right here, purple. But anyways, what I was saying is I wish I could go live, because then right now I could ask your guys' input as to, what color I should use. And because YouTube is requiring that I have 1,000 subscribers, I'm not allowed to go live, and using the platforms, I've looked into them all, and they're very frustrating to use. So, set it down, pull up, down, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Ah! I didn't turn my canvas and that happened. Still pretty cool. Keep washing the brush. You know, doesn't it feel like we're washing our brushes more than we're painting? It really does, right? I don't do this method like a whole lot, and I never really teach this in a class because, I mean, obviously, as you could see, we're just over an hour here, and this happens, right? I'm so sorry for this being a long class, but, I mean, I'm basically, you know, part of what this is to this painting, why I recommend doing it, is because, you know, you're learning. It's practice. It's, you know, like when we learned how to write our names, we learned the letter, right? So like I'm Motley Muse, so M, You know, we did that. And that's kind of what we're doing here and why this painting is good for that, because we're practicing over and over. One thing that I practiced on too to kind of save money when I was very first new to this, this type of style, I did it on paper. I did it on construction paper, which was very rough. I tried all different kinds of paper, and in the end of the day, I like the, oh, I hate that. I like the canvas better. But by doing that and going through the motions, I feel more confident in myself now. I'm glad I went through the motions. And so when my grandma retired like a million years ago, she ended up going to nail and hair school, and it was more of a hobby, as something fun to do. And to do the French manicure, they gave her this little sheet of paper, and she would just go over it, make shape the nail and everything. And it was like this little paper thing that she would do. And so I recommend doing that. I did that a lot, like with paint. And I still, there's moments where I'm still like, eh. I mean, even Bob Ross was like that. If you watch some of his videos, he has moments in there where, after you watch like a million videos of Bob Ross, you can start to kind of see his personality, and his little facial expressions. You're like, oh, you can just see the behind the scenes a little bit. I still get that way, and I've been painting for a million years. So if you stress out, just think of me and think about how much I stress out. But it's not like a stress of an anger stress. Like, I'm not over here upset and frustrated. It's more like, if I'm going to do this, I'm really going to put my heart into it. I'm really going to do it. Otherwise, what am I doing? I'm wasting my time, right? So if you do feel tired by this point, it's fine. I feel tired. I'm a little, this is beautiful, but it would be cool to have a flower there, right? Now, I'm sure you guys have heard about the concept of prime numbers on paintings. These are even, which kind of are eh. But my flowers, I got 1, 2, I'd like to have a third one somewhere-ish to move the eye around the canvas. If I put another flower like meow, that don't really move you. I need to move. Well, this leaf right here isn't the nicest that it could be. I mean, it balances out from that side. I just like these leaves. I think those leaves are pretty. So we're going to do one right here, and we're going to be more here. We're going to overlap a little bit. The overlapping is what's going to make it look a little bit more 3D. So we want the outside. You see, it's like I'm teaching myself outside. And wiggle, 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 wiggle. We're going to wiggle some more there. I'm liking this painting. I think this is a cute one. My original intention was to sell this piece, but it's cute. Can you totally tell I'm being manic depressive all over the place right now? Oh, yeah, I'm a girl. I don't know. I'm human. It's not that I'm a girl. I'm human. All over the place with my brain. Now, when I teach my classes, you got to keep your stuff together, right? So, I'm still in my brain freaking out about every little thing. But in my outside, I'm smiley, happy-go-lucky. But my insides are like, ooh. Okay, so we're gonna wiggle, wiggle. Oop. Your wiggle's not wiggling. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. That's kind of cute. I like the fade a little bit. It's fun. It's different. Now you can re-go back over these just like we did with the leaves. You can. I just happen to like how these ones are turning out, so I'm gonna leave them as is. I mean, I might put some more purple. I don't know. Nah. Sometimes, remember how I told you about no, mommy, no, mommy, no. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're getting to the point we don't want to go, aw. So I'm just gonna go with one layer on these guys. Okay, remember we want these to be on the outside, so it kind of does matter as to what side of the brush you're putting the paint on, because that's going to affect where the paint goes. You know what I was thinking would be really cool? In the comments, if when you're done with this painting, if you put like take a photo, could you put it in the comments so that way I can see it? Because I want to see how cool your paintings are all turning out. I'm sure somebody's going to paint this and be way cooler than I am, and I totally want to celebrate that. I want to be able to, if you're painting this and your painting comes out like insanely cool, I totally want to show it off to all my followers and be like, hey, check out what she did. Isn't it cool? Even if, you know, if it's not the best ever, still put it up, because, you know, it has happened to me where I painted this lady, I don't know, about 2 years ago, and I thought she was hideous. I mean, I just totally was like, ooh. But everybody loved it, thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And then after that, I looked at it again, I was like, yeah, she's got a little something to her. I feel like pretty much all the art, if you put your heart and soul and you actually put effort into it, that's what happens. That, you know, there's no wrong choice. I'm going to take a moment, I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to move on to a different color. Okay, so did you notice that I took some extra little bit of care to do that and dry them? There's a reason for that. We're going to put some more layers on them, and if they're not like all the way completely dry, it's gonna just all turn purple, and we don't want that. Okay, so because peach is kind of on the other side, sort of, not really, but yeah, this is on the other side of the color wheel, I'm going to go ahead and make some peachy roses. So I'm going to put a little dollop, not a lot, okay? I'm not trying to waste paint here. Notice also I have this type of personality where I'm not messing up my plate everywhere. I'm just putting what I need, and I like to have space because sometimes I mix my colors, which I'm doing on the brush right now, but if I'm mixing on the palette, it's good to be in the habit to give yourself location in which you can mix. Otherwise, you're using like 10 plates. And I mean, that's, you know, okay, that's cool, whatever. But like, I like to have all my color in one unit to hold. Okay, so here we are. Where's my brush? Oh no. There we go. Okay, same brush. We're going to do the exact same thing, but with some peach. Now, it's orange and white. They're going to blend in together and create peach. We're going to do, I think, here. I mean, the roses can over time. I think, okay, we'll do one here. Meow. And how about meow? Would that be cute? A little triangle. Could also maybe... Oh, and I also like to leave a little leaf. I have this thing that I started doing that's kind of just been my thing. And I always like to leave a random petal. So that way, I don't know, it's like if you... It's almost like my signature. So if you see that, you know that it's one of me. So if anybody ever tries to copy and say that it's one of me, that's not the case. Because I always leave, like, when it comes to stuff like that, I like to leave a little petal. Something that's off. Here's a little dynamic. I don't do too much, just a little bit. Otherwise, it's gaudy. Let's do a big one. How about that? We'll do bright, really cool big one. So this one, I'm going to teach you another little trick. It's going to be, I'm still going to go with the white on the outside. Notice how I pick up the white first to make it easier on myself, that I'm not mixing on the plate. And then I pick up some orange. But what I'm going to do differently this time is instead of having all of them come back in a circle, I'm going to have a big open space. Check this out. Okay, we're going to sit down and we're going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Everybody do the wiggle. Wiggle. Right? Okay. Trust me on this one. We might need to have to do 2 passes. I'm not sure yet. Thinking we might do 2 passes. That didn't dry all the way. I don't like it. It's not peachy enough. We'll do it again. White first and then dark color. I recommend always coming to the white, like for flowers and, you know, trying to stick in a specific color palette. White tends to blend good with a lot of colors. So we're going to wiggle, 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 wiggle. Ugh. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Peachy! Yes, Peachy. Wiggle. You know what? I'm going to do a couple passes, let it dry, go over it a couple times. So I really want that peachy color. I know. I'm hard on brushes. We're going to go, we want the white to be on the outside, and then we want the orange. Okay, so I'm going to wiggle over here. We're going to wiggle, 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 wiggle. That's good. That's a good wiggle. Get what I'm doing? I'm leaving space because this guy's going to be a little bigger. I strongly recommend letting your flowers and your leaves kind of be different sizes a little bit. Just, it gives more interest. Like if you notice, all my leaves are slightly different. You know, they've all got their own unique little personality going on. You want that. That happens in nature. Like if you sit and stare at a rose, it's not symmetrical. I mean, it is, but not really. You know, it's kind of, it's put together. It's a cohesive unit, but yet each rose has its own little identity. And it's not like 1 + 2 = 3. You know, the rose is kind of doing its, I'm over here, and I'm over here, and I'm going to wiggle, 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 wiggle. Over there. Ah! Of course, we're blending, so does it really matter, right? Now, the other reason why I'm not using gesso is if you notice, I'm globbing this paint, which, you know, it is costing me money for the paint. This cheap paint's a little cheaper than the gesso, but like, it's already globbing up, you know, doing its own thing. And that's kind of what I want. I want little veins happening in the leaves. I mean, leaves have veins, right? Okay, so we're going to be outside, and then we're going to go inside. Hey, these looks like sports team colors. This is the Broncos colors. Okay, so wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I kind of messed that one up, but oh well, it's okay. So if you have any questions, remember, write them down in the comments. You know what also too, if you know somebody who's like an artist, please share this video with them. I totally want to grow up this group. I mean, wouldn't it be fun to have a group of ladies to just kind of sit and paint? Have somebody to hang out with, right? So let's, yeah, if you got any buddies, invite them. Notice how I've left a little space just because, you know, they're big. I'm making a big rose. So it's okay if you leave that. We're going to cover it up. And it's going to come together really nicely. You'll see. Okay, so we want the outside color to be white. And then we want the inside. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Yeah, that's a good wiggle. I'm going to let that dry fully and then kind of turn more orangey. I wanted more peach, but oh well. I'm going to let that go. I do feel like we need more colored, but since I did that guy in the middle, maybe he would be cute to just stay in the middle like that, huh? What do you guys think? This is exactly why I wish YouTube would allow me to go live. So that way I can talk to you guys and ask your opinion on what you think. I need guidance. I need your input, your ideas. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I want YouTube to allow me to go live. And they're only going to allow me to go live if I have 1,000 subscribers. So I can't like ask you guys. It's like after the fact when I post the video and you know, if you tell me what to do, it's like, oh, I already painted it. Okay, that's cute. Do you want to try blue flowers maybe? I was going to do another one here and try to do triangle. Got blue here, right? So I should probably stay away from blue, but I mean, my original painting had blue in it, the one I'm looking at over here. So here's what I'm talking about. Here's the original guy that this one is kind of based off of. Aren't they adorable? They're cute, right? So we got peach, purple, and blue. Now these were different paints back then. These were Artist Lofts. And right now I'm using is the Basics Liquid, so it's a different company. These are actually better quality paint. It's just different hues. Geez, I don't know. I want to fill this up. It really needs to be full. But I just can't. Yeah, let's go blue. I mean, I got blue. I got turquoisey blue. And I can't. See, the thing is if I go turquoisey blue, then what's going to happen is it blends too much. And I kind of want, like, this is an inanimate object and this is all natural stuff. So I kind of want them to be like they're different entities. That this is more like a stone versus a plant. Okay, so. And as you can see, I'm not really using a whole lot of paint here. I mean, this is, yeah, just a little dollop there. Not a lot. So I still have the white. You know what I just realized? This is my only white I've been using the whole time. And do you see how good it is? It still is balanced. You know, I haven't mixed all these other colors. I mean, it's pretty good. That's when you know you're doing a good job. If your white is looking all messy with a bunch of different colors, I recommend starting again. Like my yellow here has some green in it. So, and like there's some yellow there. Like I'd recommend in some white and that purple, starting again. Try to keep your white as clear as possible. The other colors, it's kind of okay. That's kind of the mixing of the colors is how everybody's going to have their own handwriting on this painting. Okay, so we're going to remember, I'm trying on this painting. You don't have to, but I think it's better if it's more cohesive that you do. Remember to keep, like right now, all the whites are on the outsides of my roses. This guy might be a little guy. He's gonna wiggle, 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 wiggle. Who's a good wiggler? Who's a good wiggler? That was pretty. See, look at over here. I stressed out about it, and in the end of the day, I like it. It works. I mean, it goes with that orange very nicely. So, yay, I'm so glad I chose that. Would have been easier if you guys could have just told me that. Just tell me what to do. Sometimes it has happened to me, which is like really cool, where I have a student and they'll say something and I'll be like, ooh, yeah. You know, like, or I'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, I remember. Or just they'll say something like, oh, I didn't think of that. Okay, let's do it. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, it does happen, you know. I have this personality when it comes to painting, this idea that I'm still learning. I'm still teaching myself. I'm still coming out with new things and ideas. And, like, I still study. I still do. I still try, and if I don't like a painting, I'll research. I literally go to the library, I Google, read blogs. I literally do all that, even to this day. And, okay, how can I fix this? And then sometimes also you just need to have your own way. I mean, if your flowers are not looking exactly like mine, that's totally cool. Because, yeah, you know, like, I want your flowers to be a you. I don't want them to be me. I want them to be you. Cat, I really like that. So I'm going to try really hard and not to cover that. Even though it's cool if they overlap, it really is. But I thought the purple's really pretty there. So remember, we want to keep the white part on the outside. Recommend go to the white first and then go to the blue. These are my school colors. They're from when I went to high school. Okay. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. I'm going to turn those two wiggles into one wiggle. They're not wiggly enough. They're too wiggly. That's what it is. Too wiggly. Really liking the blue. It's really popping. You know what? I'm really liking this painting that I don't think I can part with this guy. He's a little cute. I mean, you know, at some point too, I have a lot of paintings on my wall. And I do give up a lot of my paintings, so it's very rare that I'm like, nope, I keep for myself. But sometimes you can paint those paintings that are just, nope, it's a painting for me. I think this is one of those times. And this guy, he's mine. You can't have him. Now, the success I'm having with having the white and the blue be very dramatic is because I'm washing my brush. Had I have not been washing my brush, it would have been more blurry like it was down here and where it is here. It's a little too much blurry. And blue and white always tend to be really cool and like they pop. And kind of that's what I'm wanting here. A little bit of pop. You know what? I'm going to leave that because not all our flowers need to be perfect and symmetrical, right? So I'm going to, it's like an imperfection, but in its imperfection, it's going to be totally, totally cool. Okay, so here we are. We can't just do one because it's right. We want our eye to move around the canvas. So let's do another one and let's try to do it in a triangle. So let's do, we could do here, 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 or here. I try not to do things in even numbers. I did do the leaves in even numbers just so that they would stand out different from the flowers, but I kind of, prime numbers are better. Well, odd numbers are better, prime numbers are even better. Just do one right there. I mean, I'm not really liking these leaves right here, where we got our little imperfections. Of course, it's a bowl, right? I got too much water on my brush. If you get little white spots that drop on your painting, go ahead and wipe them off of the painting. Try to only wipe them off if the paint is not wet. So like if it drops or here where the paint's wet, don't go wiping that. But if it's dry, like over here, wipe it. If you have, the more water you have in your paint, the more fluid it is. If it's like a cheap paint, it can still be very fluidy. But since I already put paint as my base on this canvas, that's not like a thing I need to really worry about. Okay, right there. We go white first, and then we're going to dip into the blue. And I did it absolutely backwards on my brush. So instead of swooping this way, which I've been, or yeah, no, actually, yeah. I'm going to swoop the other way because see the paint's there and not so much there. So I'm going to swoop in the other direction. This guy might go a little bit low. There we go. I didn't swoosh it, and because I didn't swoosh it and sing the song, look what happened. It all turned white. It's okay, that was cute. I'm going to go over it again, but no, it works. Something different. I want each and every one of my flowers to be super different. That's the goal. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're doing this right. We're going to... There we go. Okay, so now we're going to go... And wiggle, 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 wiggle. Too wiggly. Oh, I only got 3, and then that third one didn't. It was so good. You know, it's okay though, because we'll just wash our brush, we'll try again, and instead of making a brand new wiggle, we'll just start with that wiggle that's not so pretty, and we'll clean it up a little. No worries, no stresses. It'll be our little secret. Don't tell anybody I did that, okay? Just you and me. Let's see. So we're going to do the outside, right? Make sure. So I'm kind of doing this away from me and then in towards me. Do you get what I'm doing? Away from me and towards me. And it's kind of helping to get the paint because we just really want it on one side of the brush because that's the side of the brush that we are applying the paint on. Very common sense, right? But stuff we don't think about. Okay, so that's cool. I like it. It's coming. I mean, in a way, it makes a triangle with 2 blues and an orange, but I feel like I need another blue. But then if I do that, it won't be, and it'll just hops. I don't know. This is why I need to go live. I want to go live so bad so I can have your input. I have this thing that, okay, so like my art studio is inside my house, my office. I have 2 different art studios. But this is my home office. And so it's a bedroom that I've converted. And in a way, I kind of joke, it's my dungeon. Because like I'm here all by myself. And one of the reasons I started painting was to be sociable. Like something to like, I mean, it was a hobby, honestly, at the beginning. But it grew up because I really liked it. And when I'm up here, I'm like all by myself. And I don't know if y'all feel like that you're in a dungeon. But I'm getting the feelings, you know? So that's why I need to go live and why I need you to hit that subscribe button so I can go live so you can talk to me. And I have people to hang out with and socialize. Okay, so I'm going to dry this. And then while I'm drying it, I'm going to think about where that next rose goes. Okay, so I made the decision I'm not going to add any more flowers. So now we're going to go on to step 2. There's kind of like 3. I mean, you could really make this into 5 steps, but since you guys are doing this for the first time, I'm going to be super, super simple. I need a smaller brush, and currently it's kind of the smallest I need. So if you have, if you have a smaller brush, I'd recommend using it. Which, I'm going to attempt this guy. He's round, but he's smaller. No, no, you need a flat one. You need a square one. I recommend using a square one. You could use a round one, but I'm not skilled like that. So we're going to go, and we're going to start on this guy because he's a little clumpy. We want them to be completely dry. Like this one right here is still wet, and it's going to really mess up everything. So it's going to smear too much. Don't like it. These ones are just bubbly, so they still are kind of wet. I like to cure my paintings for about a week before I spray them with sealant. I mean, you don't need with this brand that I'm using. They claim you don't. But anyways, okay, so do you ever you heard of that saying? I'm sure you heard the saying, measure twice, cut once. When it comes to the second layer of these, I strongly recommend stare at it, think about it, then do it. Because I don't want to have to paint all this black and start over again. Which, right there. Wrong way. So we're gonna make wiggles, but they're gonna be tiny wiggles. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. 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 Now, do you see how it's getting more 3D and round? What makes these roses cool, what makes them cool... Oh! Shoot. Oh, I'm going to dry that up with a hairdryer. It's a lot of water. So when you notice how that happened, I just went ahead and dried it because the water went everywhere right away. I recommend getting water droplets as fast as possible. I'm not being too not being strict with myself to remember to get the water out. This paint flows nicely. It really does. I mean, it could flow a little bit better. I mean, the flow of the paint is going to happen when you start doing this a million times. And then when you do it a million times, then the flow it clicks one day. It just happens, you know? I still feel like I have a lot of practice to get these roses just to be super perfect. I'm still working on it. Okay, so now we're gonna wiggle. Remember, little tiny wiggles. Little tiny wiggle wiggles. Wiggle. Wiggle. Get some more white. White and some purple. And then we're gonna wiggle. Little bitty wiggles. It's the wiggles. Okay. Now, you could, if you wanted to, you could. Can you tell I'm getting tired? If you wanted to, you could leave these to be this way. You don't have to make the little centers in there. And then they, instead of being roses, they're more like, off-breed rose. I don't really remember the name of those flowers. Can't remember. They're like roses. I don't know. If you remember, if you know the name of these flowers, can you write in the comments? Because I don't remember. Okay. This is super cute. I know it's really cool, but I still kind of want to, you know, we're trying to do something. Oh, I went the wrong way. I totally went the wrong way. But you know what? That's okay. Why? Because I thoroughly, completely, all the way dried the bottom. So because I dried the bottom, you can just wipe it off. Super simple, basic, easy way to erase paint. Always make sure your layers are dry, and then erasing is like, no problem, whatever. Now, if you don't like these centerpieces, you can do them again, over and over again, just like when we did the leaves. I kind of strongly recommend not doing that, solely based in the fact that it's like, you know, well, do they get bigger and bigger? You know, you want to kind of keep them small. So we're going to do the outside white, and then the inside a little purple. I've got some mixing going on in my colors. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna wiggle tiny. Wiggle tiny. Wiggle tiny. Oh, I'm getting some purple in there, and I want some white. We're gonna wiggle tiny, tiny little wiggles. Tiny wiggles. There we go. Tiny wiggles. That blue right here, can you tell how long that's taking to dry? It's like taking forever. Okay. Let's go ahead. And the orange is pretty much mostly dry. It's still kind of bumpy. You can give that blue a little bit more time to dry, because this one's like completely dry. Wait, you know what? We're washing our brushes a lot. Never mind. Let's go do this guy, because he's like completely ready. He's like, I'm ready. Ready for his close-up. Okay, so we're going to remember that we do the outside. So as I'm pulling it in towards me. And then we're doing blue. So it's going to be out away from me. And what we're going to do is we're going to wiggle tiny, okay? And the number of wiggles is just to whatever feels right. If it feels right, do it. So I had something awesome cool happen. I was so into what I was doing and having a good time that my phone died, and that's what I'm recording this video on. So I was totally in the world of painting. So I'm so sorry if you missed the section. I haven't looked at it to see where the phone died. But basically we just wiggled really tiny little areas. I'm going to go ahead and do it again on the orange. So this is what we did for all the other flowers. Now, if you like your flowers and you think that this is really cool where there are now, stop. Because this is a type of a rose and it's totally cool. But I need some more paint on my brush. Also, I have my husband owns a birdie. He owns a parrot and a white bird. I don't remember. We call her Jojo. I don't remember what type of bird she is. She's white. I'm an animal lover. I am, but I just don't agree with animals in captivity. So me and him are kind of at odds with that. But he is a very good pet owner. So if you hear birds squawking in the background, that's what's going on. The birdies are saying, come play with me. They were born in captivity, so I'm assuming, I don't know. I just don't think it's cool. I mean, it kind of is, but I mean, doggies they seem to be happy. And these birds have good lives, but he takes good care of them. But I don't know. Not for me, I guess. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit of orange. And I'm going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle in the middle. And the wiggles are going to be tiny. Oh my goodness, did you hear that? So I'm saying wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And my parrot, he goes, wiggle, wiggle. That's so cute. I taught the parrot to say wiggle today. He's a really smart little guy, huh? He knows a lot. He's well trained. Okay, so we're gonna wiggle and keep in mind to keep them tiny. We don't want to go all big here. We're just trying to make another layer. And the reason why we're doing this is to make the flowers appear to be more 3D. Make sure you clean your water every so often, just because it's better for the brush. Better for the painting, really. So you don't want to mix too much. Also remember, every stroke, try to clean out your brush. I know it takes forever, and that's why this video is so super long. But trust me, in the end of the day, the results will be well worth it. Okay, so we're going to do some white on one side, orange on the other, and we're going to make sure that we keep the white on the outside. So if you notice with all my small little tiny wiggles, this is an older paint. Okay, so with all my other wiggles, all my flowers, I'm trying to keep the paint on the outside. So that way it has the difference. We want to see the, see that white up against the orange. We want to see that. That's a good thing. So you see what I'm doing? I think that's cool. That works. It doesn't have to be super perfect. I mean, we are layering these. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let that one dry. I do recommend keeping all of them, allowing them all to dry fully, completely, all the way before putting on another layer, because what's going to happen is you're going to introduce acetone, which is in the wet paint, and it's just going to pull the other paint off. So we don't want that to happen. Okay, so I washed my brush. I now switched. My old brush that I was using was that one, and now we're going to be using this one. See how we're kind of just a little bit smaller, and we're still going to stay in that shape of the squareness. Like here, let me, right there. Do you see that? Same exact shape, but smaller. So this is our third one down. We've used 3 brushes so far on this painting. Let's see, which one seems to be the driest? Let's do this one. I really like it. I think that's cool. It's totally cool and awesome and beautiful. I'm going to turn my painting, and I'm going to make sure, let's see, how do I want this to go? Do I want the white? Yeah, I want the white to be out, so I'm going to take paint, and then I'm going to take paint. Oh. It's a little bit more difficult when you have the smaller brush, but can you see that right there? See what I'm doing right there. Still same method, just a smaller brush. That's all it is. Lynn, I know you hate the small brushes, but it's just a part of it. It's just a part of the whole gist of, it's going to help you. Trust me, the smaller brush will help. It's well worth it. So we're going to do the letter N, the lowercase n. So it's going to be upside down U. So the pattern we did here, we're going to do opposite. We're going to start down, and we're going to go one whoop, one big one. I'm going to go back and kind of blend that a little bit. I need some white on the end there. I blended a little too much. There we go. See what I did? Okay, so I'm going to wash my brush because I got way too blendy on that one. I'm going to do the exact same thing, but instead of doing an N, I want to do a U. So I'm just going to make a hump, but going down. Perfect world, that should be dry, but, for the sake of the video, let's continue. I'm going to still make sure that the white is on the outside. The blue is going to be in the middle, so it's the exact same situation. You can see it right there. Same situation. But we're going to make a U. So we're going to start here, and we're going to make one hump down. Oh, woo! That's cool. I'm going to go over one more pass of it to blend. You don't have to do you. If you are super amazingly good at this, you could just do it one time, and it comes out awesome. I've seen this done. It works well. But anyways, okay, so we don't want our brush to be a point. We still want to have that straight, edgy line of the square. I'm just going to add some white here because I already got a lot of blue. I'm just going to, there we go. There we go. I'm going to add a little blue. You need blue. It's on the bottom here. There, do you see it? Okay. So now I'm going to go back in with just a little bit of white and make a couple of little swooshes, commas. Just little swooshes. So now we want to blend and blend, but this is such a tiny little brush, it's super difficult, right? So we're just going to go ahead and go with white. Preferably, we would like to have a little bit of both colors, but as you see, this whole area is blue. So what we're going to do is we're going to swoosh, and then we're going to make another swoosh, swoosh, another swoosh over there. Get what I'm doing? A little swoosh, little swoosh. Gonna gob the paint, a little swoosh. See that? I'm liking it. It's cool. It works. Not the prettiest of the flowers, but it works. It's cohesive. Remember to keep washing the brush. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this blue up here. We're going to want to do these to all of the blue, all of the flowers, just to have them stand out. I'm going to make this guy, he's going to go this way. Remember, we want the square. We want it to be square, not a pointy brush. We want a square brush. So we're going to get white first, and then we're going to go into our blue, the darker color. So the lighter color first. And then we're going to make the letter N, lowercase, a hump up. One up hump. Ooh, that's pretty. I love that one. Love it. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to make the letter U. But I'm not going to put the little stick at the end of the U. I'm just going to do a downwards hump, just in the same pattern we did here. In the end of the day, you can think of painting as a series of swooshes. It really is. All of it is just a series of swooshes. Series of commas. Okay, so we're going to go into the white. And then we're going to put some blue on the other side. And we're going to go and make a U. So we're going to do upside down N, lowercase. And we're going to start at one side and go down and up. Down and up. I'm liking that. That works. I'm going to go back in, and I'm just going to add some white because I've got blue already here and it's wet. And just add a petal. Get some more fresh white. Turn my thing and add a petal. See how they're commas? Just added a little comma. Okay. So now let's go on to the purple. Let's do this one and make him face out. So you see how I'm making the center face out? So they're all, this guy is going to come towards me, but all these other flowers, like, I want this painting to appear as though it's 3D. Remember, we still want the white to be on the outside. I strongly recommend sticking with the pattern of what you got. So that way the flower looks like one unit. Otherwise, you're putting white on white and purple on purple, and it's just not going to stand out as much. Okay, so we're going to whoop. An N. It's not enough white on there. So I'm going to put some more white because there's already some purple on the canvas. This is called blending on the canvas. Now these little things are not that noticeable, but I think if you take the time to go ahead and do these little things, you make your painting more dynamic. And the more dynamic your painting is, the more it's going to pop and the more it's going to look really cool, like you spent a lot of time on it, because you did spend more time on it. But we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to go you. Oh, I got a little kitty over here. My husband is an animal lover. We have kitties. And I got a little guy over here is trying to say, "Hi, Mommy, play with me." Mommy's busy right now. One time, I left my painting on the table and I went to the bathroom and I came back and he's a big white fat cat and he walked all over my painting and it was still wet. We got paint all over the carpet. Like, it was a whole to-do. I have wood floors in my painting studio, but they're not like pretty. There's like splatters of paint everywhere. Like, it totally is. Like, if I moved everything out of this room, you could tell that at one point there was a lot of paint being splattered and thrown around here. I'm just going to make one little swoosh here because, I don't know. Yeah. He's just going to have his own little personality and he's just going to get one swoosh. One swoosh. See how they look more 3D? They got more going on. The more you put going on, the more happy they get and the more people are like, "Ooh," you know? I kind of recommend that if you're going to do this method, since all the flowers are kind of facing towards us, I would recommend sticking in the continuity of having them all have the centers like this. I mean, this little flower, he's totally cool. I'm loving it. But, you know, it's kind of giving yourself a set of rules to go by. And if you do, then it seems like it's a cohesive unit. You know, like songs will be the same, like they'll have, you know what? I really think, I was going to have it go out, but I'm really thinking that I will. I'll have it go out, but it's not as pretty down there, you know? So we're just going to make it down here. Oh, I did it the wrong way. Make sure before you apply the paint that you pay attention that you're applying the paint correctly on the right side of the square for the bristles. Strongly recommend doing that. Okay, so let's see. We're going to do white on the outside. And then we're going to do purple. Paint is getting really dry. I need to add, I'm going to add a little bit of water to this and thin out my paint just a little bit because it's been on this canvas for a while and it's been really thick. So I added some water in there. Go ahead and wash my brush and start over again. These acrylics do dry fast, which is one thing that I really love about the acrylics, where oils are going to stay moister longer, so you have a longer time working on them. I kind of make this rule to myself that painting should not take too long. Like, I'm not trying to do this in days. I'm trying to do this in 1-2 hours and let it be what it is, and that's what it is, right? Because if we're always focused on the same thing, we're never really going to learn, because, you know, there's a lot of little things that we need to practice. So... let me tell you, when you do this on a bigger canvas, you can tell the difference. When it's on a bigger canvas, it's so much easier because you're using bigger brushes. I'm just going to let that be. I'm going to let that guy be. I'm not going to give him any commas like I did with this one. Let him have his own personality. Okay, now we're going to do the orange and this one. I'm going to change brushes. I'm going to go back to my middle brush just because this guy's a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go into my white. Make sure that the white is on the outside and that you pick up clean white. And then I'm going to go for some orange. Try to make sure you pick up clean orange, meaning that it's not like all different colors. You know, I got the white, and then I got the orange. Try to do this in one pass. Now I'm going to do him straight up and down. So he's going to be the letter N. I can go maybe a second time, and it'll just blend more. Gonna wash my brush. I'm gonna go with the outside white first. Okay, so outside, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of orange. Okay, so then I'm just gonna try to do this in one pass. I'm gonna make a U. There we go. You know what? I wasn't gonna give him a comma, but look at all that orange that happened. So because of that, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a comma of white. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and do my little brush for that. Turn him. We're just gonna commas that. Give him a comma. We could give him another comma. Yep, there we go. Well, now what we need to do is sign our painting. Now you can be really cool and sign your painting and do the brush and everything, but I'm making a series of paintings. And so for this series that I'm doing, the pattern that I'm working with is I'm gonna sign with a Sharpie on the end. So M-O-T-L-E-Y-M-U-S-E. There we go. I kind of like this method better. I usually don't sign here so much because this one's okay because we have black on the other side. However, if you had light colors and everything, the Sharpie is going to show through. So I just do this for standard. It's how it is. And you know what I said that I always do in my painting, just so that you always know that it's my painting? I like to have a random little petal. So I'm going to go ahead with my medium-sized brush, and I usually put them on the right, but this feels heavy to me, so I think I might do it on the left to give contrast. There's a lot of purple here, so I could do my blue. Remember how I wanted to have a triangle? I have 1, 2, 3, that's a triangle. This is on its own, and then 1, 2, and if I do a blue petal over here, that gives me 1, 2, 3 as a triangle. And do you see how my triangles are going in 2 different directions? This is the base, and then that's a base. Ooh, I touched my painting. So, it's really good to make the eye move around the canvas, something visual to look at. And because I think about these things when I'm painting, that is a large part as to why I prefer not to sign my name on a painting, because I feel like then that it's adding another number, you know, and I want to keep everything in primes. So, we're just going to add a swoosh. We're going to, and I don't know if we could do it here in the corner. We're going to do it here, or is it there, or do it right, I think we should do it right here. Swoosh. And there you have it. There's my one little random petal. Now you could do a couple if you want. You know, we could do one more, but I'm thinking I like that. For the science of prime numbers and moving the eyes around, I think 1 is completely all you need for that. And I don't want to retouch it. I want it to be kind of messy, because if you have one pretty perfect flower, all your other flowers are not going to look like the same unit. So anyways, I want to say thank you so much for coming and painting with me today. I had so much fun doing this. This one is going to go in a place of honor in my living room so everybody can see it. I really love this painting. So if you haven't subscribed, I'd recommend to subscribe so that way next week you can get the other video, because I don't want you to not miss me and then I don't see you for 2 years. That'll be sad. I want to paint more times with you guys. I'm having so much fun doing this, and I want you to come on this journey with me. If you have any ideas of what I could paint in the future, some ideas, I mean, I have a very specific style that is uniquely me. So let me know and I can show you. I was thinking about doing some puppies. That might be cute. I don't know. Give me some ideas. Put some stuff in the comment. I do read them every day. So I should get back to you by the afternoon. Thanks for watching. Push the purple flower to subscribe and you can watch all kinds of awesome videos.